Good morning. Oh, let me fix the box around myself. Good morning. Happy whatever day it is. This is another in the can episode, which means I have no idea what day this is airing, but I put this episode in the can in case I needed it. So obviously, I needed it. So a happy day, whatever day it is. Good morning to you. And as you know, if you saw the previous In the Can episode, what I'm doing on these episodes is telling stories because I miss telling stories on the show. So that's very fulfilling for me. I hope it's enjoyable for you. So let's see. What's today's story going to be? I got to think about it. In the meantime, welcome to the Be Your Own Hero show. I am your host. I am sekouwrites, and HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reach optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It is a reciprocal action. And as I just said, I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative, which means I do a bunch of different things. And I'm also the creator of the HERO Ministry movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general and the unhoused community in specific. Okay, all that said, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me to be here and have the space to talk about my journey of being my own hero and to tell stories. So here we go. I think I'm going to talk about returning items. So during the great Sekou Hero charity run, I keep changing the name, but anyway, during the Sekou Hero charity run, I have ended up returning a number of items. I have returned a wallet, two wallets, and a backpack. So at least three items. I've returned. So I've got a story about two of the items. So the first item was a wallet I found and I returned to the store of the parking lot where I found it. And the customer service people were grateful. There was a membership card. So I stayed with them until they were able to find the person. So they were very appreciative. And yeah, they found their wallet. It must have fallen out of a pocket or something into the parking lot of the store. So that's where I found it. So that's story number one. I guess I'm kind of rushing through that story because I didn't have any personal interaction with the person who lost the wallet, but I did stay with the customer service reps of the store until they reached out to him. Okay, moving on. I found a women's wallet in the snow during one of my runs. And ironically, or maybe not so ironically, this was the day after I found Mr. Charles in the snow. So hopefully you already know that story. So the very next day, after I found Mr. Charles, I went back out running again in the snow, in the ice, in the freezing weather, very uncomfortable running conditions. I went back out again that next day and I saw a wallet. And I want to hold myself in integrity here. I did not immediately stop to pick up the wallet. I did not. I was concerned about my pace and reaching my goal. My goal that day, sorry, that's my alarm. My goal that day was to run 10 miles. It was my first time running 10 miles. And I didn't want to do it, but Antoine had challenged me to do it. And I was doing it by myself. So I had a lot of things in my head. So when I ran past this item in the snow, I noticed it and I thought it was I didn't know what it was actually. I did not think it was a wallet. I thought it was something else. But I noticed it, but I kept running. I was like, And then I got to the light and I was like, man, you need to go see what that was. And so I jogged back and picked it up. And I think I thought it was a phone, but regardless, it was a women's wallet. And I was in front of the Lexus dealership. And so I looked around to see if anyone was there, if the place was open. No. And so I held on to the wallet and then finished my run. I did complete my 10 miles. It was challenging, but I did it. And then I got on social media to find the woman's name. I found her ID in the wallet and I looked up her name and I saw a couple of different people it could be. I DM'd both of those people on social media, and then one of them got back to me fairly quickly to say, yes, yes, oh my God, thank you so much. Yes, that's my wallet. And then we met at a coffee shop for me to return it. Now, here's where I want to make a point. When we connected, it was she and her friends, and she was only visiting Nashville. And the reason she was so frantic about it, besides the fact that she lost her wallet, was the fact that her ID was in the wallet, and she was about to get on a flight to go back home. And she couldn't figure out how she was going to get on the flight without her wallet. So she was really concerned about her ID more than about anything else, credit cards, money, etc. Anyway, when we linked up, she was so excited and so appreciative, and her friends were so excited and so appreciative. And she offered me all the cash in her wallet as a reward. Now, sidebar, I kind of knew how much money was in her wallet because I'd gone through looking for ID. And so I think it was like maybe $10, maybe $5. I feel like it was a very small amount of money. But she offered me everything that was in the wallet as a reward for returning her wallet. And of course I waved her off. I thought that was so adorable of her to offer me that. I thought that was really nice. And they were really appreciative, and we took a photo together, and I posted it and I talked about it on social media. And that's the end of that story. Okay, fast forward. I found a backpack with a tablet with a very expensive iPad in it, and I'm trying to make this a little bit cryptic because I don't want to give it away, a book that was worth a lot of money. Is that too cryptic though? Okay, yeah, that's too cryptic. I will say that I found items belonging to a member of a sports team, right? A professional sports team. So that's to say the tablet, of course, is worth a lot of money, but the playbook for that particular sport is also very significant. Like, I understand that if you lose your playbook, you can lose your position on a team. So it's a very, very big deal. Anyway, I found the tablet and the playbook, and I did the same thing. I found the person on social media, sent them a DM. I was so early in the process that they didn't even realize that their stuff was missing yet. So at first he was like, no, you got the wrong person. And then realized that, yeah, that is my stuff. And so we connected and I returned the stuff. And I just want to talk about very briefly the difference in mindset. So the woman I returned the wallet to was very young and didn't seem to have a lot to offer, but she offered everything that she had. And she was very appreciative, right? Compare that to the young man who seems, at least outwardly, to have the world at his fingertips in terms of money, fame, fortune, all those things. His mentality, his mindset was very focused on the negative. In other words, specifically, he was very focused on who did this to me, like who took my stuff such that I could find it. He was not focused on me returning it to him, even though, as I said, I hear that if you lose a playbook, then you can lose your position on the team. He wasn't focused on that. He was focused on who did this to me, how could this happen to me? And he was asking questions like, well, like, did I have any more information about, any details I could give him to catch the culprit? But he was not really focused on the fact that even before he realized that it was missing, it was being returned. Like, that is the win there, right? And he discovered some other things were amiss. I think he said someone broke one of his car windows. So there were a few things going on in that situation. But I was struck by the difference in mindset and the person who I would have expected to be a little more cranky about their situation. They're stuck in this other city. They don't know how to get on the plane. They don't know how they're going to get back. What are they going to do? Can't buy a ticket because they lost their credit cards. Like all those things. I would have expected that person to be a little more cranky, but she was very focused on gratitude and relief. Whereas this other person who has so much more seemed to be very focused on lack, on limitation, and on anger at whoever did this to me. So he said the words a couple times to me, thanks, I appreciate it. But it was really like, thanks, I appreciate it. Like, it didn't seem at all like he appreciated the fact that I sought him out and got him his stuff back before he even realized it was missing. So I was really struck by that, because the bottom line is, it's all mindset. What happens to you does not change. The world is the world. Life is life. Things are going to happen that you don't like. Things are going to happen that you don't want to happen. But your mindset is what shapes your experience of that thing. So if you're focused on the negative, it becomes a much more negative experience. But if you're focused on the positive, it becomes a much more positive experience. So yeah, that's really it. But I'm thinking right now about how, for me, that first encounter created this whole story on social media. We had a photo together, and I was like, this whole kind of culmination. Whereas with the other person, it obviously didn't even make sense to try to take a photo and tell a story, because he was too caught up in, I gotta find out who did this to me. So yeah, I'll say it again. The point is, mindset is what shapes the world around us. Mindset is what shapes the world around us. And what I've learned through all of my various studies on this show and outside of it is that mindset becomes habit. And that's not something we think about in terms of the way we think. We don't think of our thoughts as habits. But if you look into neuroscience, you will find that thoughts become habits, feelings become habits. If you think and operate in a certain way, it repeats itself over and over again. So that young man who has achieved the dream of so many people is still looking into small, dark spaces. And that will mean something in terms of his life trajectory, unless he changes it. And the young lady who was looking in all the bright spaces, that will mean something in terms of her life trajectory if she maintains that habit of looking into the positive. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that story. As I said, I've returned at least 3 lost items now, 2 wallets and 1 backpack full of sports goodies. And I have some interesting stories about each of those experiences. Okay, so that's story time for today. Quick episode, 15 minutes or so. And hopefully I'll be back on here live tomorrow. So till then, keep doing, be a hero, but be your own hero. That's the most important thing. Don't try to impress anybody else. Be your own hero. And remember that now is better than perfect in all things, especially in terms of investing. And I'll see you next time. Later. Oh, I got to find my video. Here we go. Later.